Hi, I just realized that I haven't reviewed Trillium's Fort Point Pale Ale in almost 3 years, and that video review is long-winded and very low resolution, so I thought would return to it and see if it's also changed a little bit. In a lot of my old pictures, reviews, videos of this beer, it looked a little bit darker. Maybe I was just not getting good lighting in it, but it seems like it might be a little hazier and paler these days, and that's kind of the way things have kind of been moving with the hazy IPAs, that people wanted to just look like literally like juice in the glass. So if you're at this channel, I'm guessing you probably know about this beer and there's a good chance you've drank it many times, but it's Trillium's flagship pale ale, available more often than any of their other beers. I mean, they call it pale ale, but it's 6.6% alcohol, very hop forward. They could call it an IPA and no one would get mad about it. So it features Citra hop prominently, and then their kind of classic Columbus hop used in the hot end for mostly bittering. And then they use pale malt, a little bit of white wheat, a little C15, Crystal 15, just a dash of Crystal in there. It doesn't really give it a caramely flavor or color, and a little bit of dextrin, and that's what they use for every Fort Point variation. They do all these different dry hopping ones, and yeah, so it's late hops and dry hops with Citra, and yeah, so it's similar to all the street IPAs, hopping and malting and everything, except those are a little stronger. All right, so this one was canned a day under 3 weeks ago, so probably close to about the age that a lot of people drink it. I used to drink it often the day it was released. Yeah, my last video was from a growler back when they didn't do cans, and I actually have not drank this beer in a long time, months and months and months. May have even be almost since like last year, and that looks very, very pale. This glass is kind of wide, so maybe it looks a little darker than it would otherwise, but it seems like it's a little bit hazier and paler than in my old video, but the quality of the video is so bad that it's hard to tell. But I guess this isn't as pale as a lot of New England IPAs these days. And the head's looking pretty good. A lot of big bubbles, but some thicker ones in there. Head looks better than the Pilsner that I just reviewed from them. But that smell is glorious. It makes me wonder why I don't buy this more often. I just love how their yeast and however they hop it just brings out these beautiful, beautiful Citra aromas. It's just packed full of passion fruit and pineapple and mango and coconut, pina colada stuff, just marshmallow, vanilla, creamsicle. It smells actually like some kind of tropical juice blend in there. It almost smells like it's got some tartness happening somehow. Yeah, that smells fantastic. Ever since Trillium had a little scandal, people were talking about their business practices, not paying people very well. Everyone's been saying, oh, they have this new fermentation profile. I don't know if it's really affected this beer too much, because they've been doing newer beers that are a little bit darker and even denser. New IPAs that are darker and denser that a lot of people aren't a huge fan of. But this seems like it's stayed mostly the same. Maybe it's a little less dank than it was years ago, but I'm all for that. Yeah, when I dive my nose deep in there, it smells like I'm about to drink it. You know, somehow a passion fruit, guava, pineapple smoothie. It smells extremely good. Only a hint of some kind of clean resin in there. Maybe just like a hint of ruby red grapefruit. I'm sure the grapefruit will come out more in the flavor. Yep. Finishes surprisingly clean with a good minerality from however they treat their water, but I'm not getting a bunch of chalkiness or burning that is detracting from all the fruity qualities. It just helps it to finish clean and rather dry, even though there's all these sweet flavors in there. And the head died down a little quickly on this one. The first batch of Fort Point they ever canned had a beautiful head, and that's what I've noticed about the Fort Point and the Street series, is that a lot of those seem to have the best consistency of like appearance and head retention. I mean, maybe it varies a little bit more, but yeah, if you just buy their standard old-fashioned beers, those are probably gonna be the best ones. But as you can see, this one, the head was a little weird. I think last February I may have got a batch of this that was kind of chunky, not perfectly hazy like this. But this is looking very good. Besides the head, maybe the head will get a little thicker with this pour. Yeah, it's about the same. But it's all about the aroma, the feel, and the clean finish, and how easy it is to drink this. It's just so pleasant. But I'm just crazy about the aroma. It's like what some of the best old batches of Pseudo Sue were like, kind of comparable. I should get Pseudo Sue again. That's another one where I feel like the first shipment they sent here was chunky and just not up to par. And yeah, didn't get any chunks from that bottom there, just a perfect haze. And it is a touch darker, I guess, than a lot of the New England IPAs I drink these days, probably because there's just a teeny bit of C15 in there. So it's not a super pale blonde, almost white yellow look. It's got a little bit of a golden thing going on, but I just like that aroma more than almost any other aroma in a beer. Really, really awesome. I wish they would do a Street Series IPA that just focuses on Citra, because they actually don't do that. Their standard Street Series beer, Congress Street, is Galaxy, and then all the other ones focus on something else, but they don't have one that's just Citra, which I kind of wish they would do that. I would say the mouthfeel on this is not super ultra soft and creamy and velvety. It's got a little bit of a prickle, seltzery carbonation quality to it, but it's not that light bodied. But it isn't rich. But I think it's helping it to dry it out a lot, because a lot of these IPAs that have the super soft, creamy body, it's hard to make them really dry. They tend to get that from a good amount of sweetness. And now there's a little bit of a mineral-y thing building up that's helping to dry it out, yeah, making it a little more refreshing, but it's starting to take away a teeny bit from the complex fruit qualities and all that hops in there. And that's what I noticed with some of the special, like, crazy hop Trillium beers, that it gets kind of minerally and almost sulfury. I assume it something has to do with the dry hopping and the water treatment and all the haze. So this isn't the best batch of Fort Point I've ever had, I think, but it's still really good, and I love that aroma. I could just sniff this. I want a candle of this. It just reminds me that I don't think there's ever going to be a hop that I like more than Citra, at least for, new wave hoppy beers. From the old-fashioned European beers, I almost always prefer the old-fashioned hops, but for the IPA, this is, you can't beat Citra. For an American IPA or New England IPA, whatever you call it. And for this batch, I would probably give it a 4.25, close to a 4.5. I would normally give it a 4.5, and there are many great things about this beer. Just the feel and the carbonation and that sulfury quality coming in at the end aren't perfect, but I feel like those are just things that are hard to control, because this style just seems like the consistency factor in New England IPA is the hardest. Like no other style can I think of where it just seems like breweries struggle with even their flagship beer that they've brewed thousands of times. So I guess I don't have to recommend this beer to anyone, but it's nice to return to it. So maybe I should watch some other reviews, see what people think, see if anyone's reviewed this specific batch, but they make it so often now that probably hard to find that. That's it. Bye.